Hey, Black Barn Social Club, God bless America. These are the Grant Stone black waxed deer boots. That's my dog. He's going to play and make noise in and out of this video. This is the third. I'm starting a routine here. This is starting to get a little bit. I'm starting to do that thing where I'll do a review and then I'll get critical of what I said or what I didn't say, or I'll make a joke that shouldn't, that maybe shouldn't, that fell flat, and then I'll redo it, and then I'll redo it a third time. And long story short, I am tired of taking these things out of a box and putting them back in a box so that I can take them back out again. So we're skipping all that. We're going straight to this boot. I'll tell you about the box. It was a nice box. It was a box with a. I'll even show you the box. Check this out. It's a nice box. That being said, it's just a box. There's 2 boot bags in it. There's a bottle opener, shoehorn in it, and there's also an extra set of laces in there. There is a pretty nice little runner that's intended for you to you say, what's the runner for, Jimmy? It's intended for you to put on the floor if you're going to try these boots on, so that when you stand up in them, you're not marring up the sole of the boot. You're just taking care of that in case you need to send it back, in which case, you haven't messed up the boot. That being said, now let's pretend we skipped forward and we're looking at this boot, and let me tell you some more about it. Grant Stone sent me these boots. I may have already said that once because I've said it 6 times now. Grant Stone sent me these boots, but I promised you guys that if anybody ever sent me something to review, I'm going to review it because it gives me content. It gives me something to do, and I love boots. So I'm going to review it, but I'm not necessarily going to bias my opinion because of that. So everybody knows that. You're going to get an honest review. So hear me when I say they sent me these boots, but they're not the first Grant Stones I've bought. I have purchased a pair of Grant Stone, the Diesel Tan Essex. They're in some of my videos on Instagram. You guys can go check those out. I wish you would. And the only problem I have with them, they're a very attractive boot. They're very well made. The quality is great. They're a little bit more refined. They're the day-night soles and a plain toe boot. The only problem I have with them is I bought them. It's a narrower last, and it's a little more compressed on the toe box. And I bought them a half size too small. So that being said, these boots are 11.5D, and they're on the Floyd last. So that's their widest toe box that they have. I think even Grant Stone's website says you can size down a half size if you get this last. I wasn't going to risk it because I'm one of those people that I'll go ahead and wear a bigger sock if I need to, or a thicker sock if I need to, but I don't want to be cramped in a boot. Everything else I'm buying in Parkhurst and Oak Street and Truman, everything else has been so far 11.5, with the exception of one pair of Truman boots and an 11. But they're not as narrow as the other Grant Stones. So all that being said, I ordered true to size, or at least true to what I typically wear in boots. Black waxed deer, coming from Galoon's Tannery up north, from white-tailed deer. They cull them. It's part of their population control. If you're okay wearing leather, it's an animal. It's not a cow. It's a deer. But kudu is an antelope, and I'm not picky. I'll eat steak. I don't have any of those issues that some people have. But this, just so you know, it's at least managed well through their process of culling and population control. So they're not letting the leather go to waste. So that's kind of cool. As far as Galoons calls it a Teton waxy stag. Grant Stone calls it the black waxed deer. Pretty much the same leather. It's, you know, they just have different names for it. Goodyear welt construction, a reversed split welt, I think is what they call, or I should say a 360 split reverse welt, and that's describing how that welt is put down. And I want to say this is supposed to be just a little bit more waterproof. I think I've heard that in plenty of reviews, but you can see the 360 welting going all the way around the heel, making that heel a little bit chunkier, and I for one like it. I really, like I said, I'm looking at some Parkhurst boots right now in a 360 welt. These ones I'm wearing today, these Parkhurst beaver fur kudu Allen boot. It's in a 270. My son is doing cartwheels upstairs, but this is in a 270 welt. I really like a thicker, pronounced heel. So the next boot I buy is probably going to be that 360 welt. So, fan of the 360 welt. It does make it more pronounced, even though it's a thinner heel. That looks more rugged. Lug sole, you can see that. It's a Grant Stone proprietary sole. So what you get here is a veg tan heel stack in here, veg tan midsole, veg tan welt, and a veg tan insole. You're getting a full grain kip lining on the, all the way throughout the boot. So that's kind of an upgrade. I mean, sometimes your boots don't have that lining. Gusseted tongue, antiqued eyelets, and speed hooks. Now, if I'm talking about the quality of the boot, again, they're a flaw. I mean, it's flawless. There's nothing wrong with these. These weren't seconds. They weren't samples. They weren't blims. I mean, they're really well put together. All the leather is matching as much as it can. I mean, the black waxed deer it's meant to have a lot of character. So you're going to see some. I'm trying to find a good. This won't translate on the camera, but you can see striations and imperfections in the leather. But again, that's inherent to the leather itself. It's slightly polished from the tannery, but not overly done. It's not as rough or raw and scarred as the kudu. But again, it's not the same look. It's not what you're going for, and so, like I said, that's not a knock to kudu. It's not. I mean, you're all these things are meant to have a look, and these are pulling their weight. I like how they did the black, just that jet black sole. I mean, that's a pretty slick, stark contrast, and it goes well with the color. I don't see any problems in the stitching for the welt. I don't see any bunching. I've seen other reviews where the leather itself, where it was lasted, and then that welt drew it down. You could see a lot of not issues, but you could see stress on the leather. I don't see that in this boot at all. And again, I'm kind of looking these over with you, but I don't see it there either. You got triple stitching here, double stitching everywhere else, double stitching across the heel stay, the single piece heel stay. There's some of that striation I was talking about. I mean, you can see just some personality and some character, maybe even a tick bite that I'm looking at. That's kind of cool. There is a wicked amount of pull up in these, and that's just showing you that leather. It's just cool. So I'm really excited to see how these break in. I'm really excited to see how they'll between the wax and the and again just that pull up starting to happen. I think these are going to be patina monsters. So I'm really excited about that. Excited about the opportunity to try these on and wear them for you guys and let you see more of them. I'm trying to keep this short because I know if your attention span is like mine, you have already moved on because you saw a sexy boot, and that's all you need to see. So if that's all you want to see, mission accomplished. But if you want to hear more about it, you guys know, I might have already said this. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. If you're okay with made in China, this is one hell of a pair of boots. I mean, this is a really well-made pair of boots. I'm trying to think, again, you've got options if you want, if you must have made in America. I don't think this is a second-rate option by any means. It's by going to China and getting a pair of boots like this. I can every bit see just as much care and effort went into making this boot by as everything else I've seen. So again, I'm not going to judge. This is one hell of a good-looking pair of boots. Looking forward to them. You guys be blessed. We'll talk soon. That's it.